These are some of the important objective type questions from the poem An Introduction by Kamala Das. So note down all these questions. First is, who is the poet of An Introduction? As usual, Kamala Das. As an introduction is written in which form? It is written in free verse. Which theme is central to an introduction? The personal identity and gender roles. What language does Kamala Das refer to in the poem? It's English. Kamala Das compares herself to which political leaders? It is Nehru and Gandhi. What is Kamala Das' tone in an introduction? The tone is defiant and assertive. The poem expresses the poet's struggle with which aspect? It is language and gender roles. What does the poet say about English in the poem? She says that it is her own, even if imperfect. What does the poet's use of free verse signify? It is her rejection of conventional norms. What autobiographical elements does the poem include? Her thoughts on feminism and identity. Now, some fill-ups. The poet speaks of her struggles as a woman in patriarchal society. What does Kamala Das emphasize about women? Their struggle for self-expression. The poet challenges the expectations imposed on women regarding marriage and gender roles. The poem An Introduction is a part of which poetry collection? It is Summer in Calcutta. Summer in Calcutta. The poet asserts her right to express herself in which language? In English. Kamala Das' mention of her body in the poem symbolizes her rebellion against societal norms. I am sinner, I am saint suggests her acceptance of all aspects of herself. What does Kamala Das compare her writing to? She compares her writing to a confession. The line, dress in saris, be girl, be wife, they said, reflects societal expectations for women. The poet's assertion, I too call myself I, symbolizes what? It symbolizes her sense of individual identity. Now the poem is written in which person? It is written in first person. First person means she always says I in every line. The poem's free verse style reflects the poet's rejection of restrictions. What literary device is used in I speak three languages, write in two, dream in one? It is parallelism. The line cursed by their ignorance refers to society's attitude towards women writers. The tone of the poem shifts from defiant to assertive. Now some analysis of this poem. What does the poet mean by the speech of mind? She wants to say her own way of expressing thoughts. The poet expresses frustration with societal expectations and norms. What aspect of her life does Kamala Das describe in the poem? Her marriage and identity struggles. Which phrase in the poem emphasizes Kamala Das' feminist stance? It's I too call myself I. What does Kamala Das suggest about language in the poem? It belongs to everyone who uses it. How does the poet describe the restrictions imposed on her? She described it as a burden. What does Kamala Das challenge in the poem? She challenged gender roles and linguistic imperialism. How does the poem reflect Kamala Das' personal experiences? It is autobiographical. The poet's rejection of societal expectations suggests that her rebellion against authority. Why did Kamala Das emphasize the importance of self-expression? To establish her individuality. Now some literary devices and the conclusion of this poem. The phrase "I don't know politics but I know the names" is an example of irony. What literary device is used in the line "My soul is my own"? It is personification. The repetition of "I" in the poem signifies the poet's assertion of identity. The poem and introduction is best described as a personal and political statement. What does the poet mean by "I am sinner, I am saint"? She means that she embraces both her flaws and strengths. Kamala Das' use a personal pronoun in the poem highlights that the universality of her experience. The poet's discussion of her physical appearance in the poem symbolizes her rebellion against societal standards. How does the poem challenge traditional notions of womanhood? It is by rejecting the expectations placed on women. What is the overall message of an introduction? The overall message is a call for women's independence and self-expression. How does an introduction reflect Kamala Das' literary style? It is conventional, bold and personal. So these are some of the important objective type questions on the poem and introduction by Kamala Das. So do write it in your notebooks and prepare them for your external exams.